Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for April 2025 for each life path number. Before we get into the forecast, this is a general reading. If you would like your own personal numerology reading, please book some time with me. My information's in the description box below. I would love to work with you. All right, let's take a look to see what April has in store. Life path number 7, you are going to be working with the vibration of the 22202 for April. This can be a month where it feels like you need to make a lot of decisions. So you could feel like you're at a crossroads in many areas of your life, and you can't put off that decision-making process any longer. The decision needs to be made this month, and you've got this, right? This is an exercise this month, or could be several exercises this month, in trusting yourself, trusting that you are capable, fully capable of making decisions that best serve you and your circumstances in this moment. Does that mean that they're going to turn out exactly the way that you expect them to or want them to? No, because this is life. But no matter how things unfold based on those decisions, you can handle it just like you've handled it from day one, right? Like life is about constantly making decisions and choices and all those things, which you've been doing since day one. And you've always been able to manage and handle the consequences of those decisions, of those choices. And so this is no different. So whatever comes up for you this month, come back to yourself, right? You're 7, you are very, very tuned into yourself, whether you recognize it yet or not. It's a very spiritual energy. You're very intuitive. Come back to that inner guidance. Trust yourself in these decisions. Is it going to be easy? No, because when we make a decision, right, usually there's at least 2 choices. When we make a decision for one of those choices, we have to release the other. So we're saying yes to one and no to the other, basically. Or we're putting our energy in one direction and not putting as much energy in the other direction. And sometimes that can create grief, feelings of remorse, and even feelings of regret at first as we transition into this new direction. Because again, we're not invested so much in the other direction. And so it can bring up, it can be challenging to move through and follow through with those new decisions, because it's ultimately going to mean having to release something else. And it's in that releasing that can create the sadness or the grief or the, just the whole, everything we have to move through when we make decisions, especially if the decision that we make, at least initially doesn't turn out exactly as we expected or wanted it to. We just have to be really gentle with ourselves in that process, because, usually things don't happen overnight, and it's a process. So my point of saying all that is trust yourself. Come back to trust yourself this month. Now, and I would say always, right? A big hurdle for 7s in this lifetime is trust. And usually 7s are confronted with situations where they either lose trust in someone or something, or their trust is tested, etc. And this is a lifetime of gaining that trust back, right? Trusting self, trusting others, trusting the universe. And this month for you all can be a really great opportunity to flex that muscle of trusting yourself. And once you make that decision, right, whatever the crossroads is, once you make that decision, get present, come back to yourself, make sure it feels right. Once you make that decision, don't overanalyze it. Like, don't keep coming back to it. Don't beat yourself up for it. Just move forward, persevere forward, because you're not gonna see the full results right away, and you've got to see it through to completion in order to see the results. So it doesn't help if you second guess yourself and then overanalyze and keep going down that rabbit hole, because that's going to keep you from progressing forward. So this 22 energy is really about that, helping you to weigh your options, come back to yourself, feel into it, make a decision, Be decisive, create a plan for how you're going to move forward, stick to that plan, and take action. This energy is not an energy of being idle. It's an energy that pushes you forward through the change at hand. So anytime we make some kind of a decision, that ultimately will bring in some kind of change within our life. And that's usually what keeps us from making the decision in the first place, because we know that some change is going to occur from that process. So the 22 says, don't resist the need for change. Stay adaptable. Use your common sense. Come to a logical conclusion. Take action. Make a decision and take action. You could find this month that certain sudden events require you to make that decision. So again, that's what I mean when I say, this month you could find that things that you've been kind of hemming and hawing about, and you need to make a decision, you need to make some changes, but you haven't really felt the push. This month could bring the push. And it could be, again, sudden events or sudden circumstances that show you a decision has to be made now. So in other words, an example would be maybe you don't like your neighborhood, you don't like your neighbors or whatever, right? It's not a healthy environment. You need to move, but you're comfortable in this environment just because it's known. This month, you could find that your landlord decides to sell the place, and so you have to move, right? So it's kind of like that divine intervention where it's like those sudden events force us to make a decision. Force us to do something, force us to, make that change type of thing. So you could find that at this time in your life. And that decision could be a significant turning point in your life. So don't fight it. And again, it could be a change of location, a change of job, a fresh relationship, a change in a relationship, something that demands new thoughts, new feelings, new actions from you. Anything is possible this month, but it will likely be a significant turning point in your life that you were at the helm of. Like you are the one, you're there. You're the one making it happen. I would say definitely with this energy, this is about balance, bringing things into balance. And if change is needed, it's because there's disharmony. It's not working. If we need to make some kind of a decision, it's because, we've hit the end of the road with whatever this is. And so we have to make a decision to either go left or go right. And so this energy of the 22 brings in the alternatives. Like it gives us the pros, the cons. It allows us to see more clearly the opportunities. And again, the alternatives. It allows us or helps us to see beyond the confines of our current situation. So in this process, this is a month where you could absolutely learn so much about yourself and how adaptable you are and how, possible it is to take a risk, to do new things, to think outside the box, to be unconventional, and to trust yourself, right? To truly trust yourself. And it's through this change and this trying new things and doing things differently that we evolve and we grow. Otherwise, we just start to stagnate. And then we're not really, we're not doing ourselves any service, any justice. Because this energy does bring in the need for balance, I would usually say, weigh your pros and cons, weigh and measure your present situation or any situation that's presented to you. And, decide what to do. But for sevens, I would caution you against going too deep into that because sevens can sometimes be over analytical. So just make sure that, weigh your pros and cons, surface level, but don't go so deep that you get stuck there, right? The whole point of this energy this month is to push you outside of your comfort zone, push you to make the change, push you to make the decision, push you to trust yourself, and not get stuck on the pros and cons, right? So again, weigh your options, be decisive, make a decision, then have a plan and take action. That's your homework this month. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all and you got horse energy. And exactly, this energy helps you to break free from something. It helps you to run wild. Also, what's interesting about horses is they're very present, like they're very in their body. Most animals are, except for humans. And so, when I think about horses, there's this presence. There's this like very much in your body. So I would say, I would caution you against, worrying too much about the future, worrying too much about what was done in the past. Be very present. In order to make these decisions that you're going to need to make this month, you have to be present. You can't be caught up in the fear of worry or anxiety about what could happen, or be stuck in what did happen. Be present. So bring yourself back to the present however you can do that. And do that before you make your decisions, because that's how you're going to make the best decision for you in this moment, is to be present in this moment. If you're making a decision based on fear from the future or of the future, you're not going to be as happy with that decision as you would be if you're making it from the present moment. So powerful energy, sevens. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now.